I think for me, democracy is a pretty interesting thing. Really, it's that I suppose, in a way, it's a kind of a faith. That we, in my generation at least, or going back even further, we were just taught we were brought up to assume that it was like almost a natural state for mankind. Um, that it was an inevitable end result of the linear process of progress, would be universal democratization, democracy for all. And of course, in recent times, it's gone very much hand in hand with the idea of a certain kind of economic system as well. And a lot of the prosecution of the war on terror was about this spurious notion of spreading democracy through, free market economy, if by force, by bloodshed, if necessary. Um, to me, it's interesting to look at the history of the Soviet Union and to see that they lived in a system which, however much the reality contradicted their own experience, so many people there believed in that system. There was even an idea that there would be this thing that people called Homo Sovieticus, which would be the Soviet man, and eventually the Soviet system would be realized internationally, not just in the Soviet Union but everywhere, and that every man would be he'd be a communist, he'd be a Soviet, and that was really the natural final stage for mankind's development. So, for me, I'm glad I don't live in a totalitarian system, and I guess for all of democracy's very obvious faults, and they're even more obvious now in the midst of the current economic financial crisis. But I think I'd rather live in the system I do. But for me, it's a complicated thing. Democracy is both an aspiration and a kind of a failed reality. So I'm very taken by the delusion that is democracy as much as the aspiration. So I guess you could say it's both an observation and a demand.